Does the guy got to make a certain amount of money?
Absolutely. He gotta have at least 200,000 a year. Yeah.
Okay. 200K. So
Hmm.
150 is not even enough for you.
Really, too. Just because I don't want anybody, like, if I'm being honest, I don't want anybody who makes like less than me. I really feel like when it comes to like the woman that I am, granted,
So I guess, men and women have different standards, but also he went on to say that ladies usually have a very long list of what they want from a man. And if you really don't believe him, watch this clip and tell me what you think.
What kind of man you looking for?
so I want somebody whole first and foremost. I don't want no broken man, no way, no shape, form. Don't come to me with no broken pockets, broken heart, broken
Well,
mentality.
you said no waiting on State Farm.
I said no way, shape, or form.
Oh, no way, shape, or form. Okay, okay.
Yeah, come to me whole. Like I want somebody who is stable, financially literate, who is a bit. I prefer a business owner, entrepreneur, because what I do, like I'm an entrepreneur, and I just don't feel like I would be good with somebody who is not, simply because I take a lot of risks. And I just want my person to understand the risk that is involved with being an entrepreneur. So I prefer somebody who is a business owner, God fearing, absolutely. He has to be God fearing. And what I mean by God fearing is like, you know, your Bible, you know what it's not, don't try to use it to manipulate me and get me to do what you want. Like you actually practice. Granted, we're all gonna fall short, because I'm not perfect and I'm not gonna ever make it seem like I'm just a perfect Christian. However, I do try to, do what's right and be right with God. He has to pray. He has to know how to pray. He has to know how to lead. He has to be a good role model because I have two young black boys. So he has to be a good role model, although their father is in the picture and he's an amazing father. But if you're gonna be around my kids, you gotta be a good role model. Um, Princess treatment is required. It is.
What is
uh,
princess treatment? What is detail what princess treatment is to you?
Being spoiled. I like to be spoiled. I like my, I like to be able to be soft. I like to be able to be within my feminine self. I feel like I'm at peace. I'm single. I'm at peace. So if you take me out of my element and you take me where I have to put back on my grizzly face, or I have to be this, like something that I'm not, I don't want it. I want to be able to be treated a certain way. Um, Gifts are required, but I also give gifts as well. Um, I don't know.
Okay. Now listen, let's just jump in here because I know some men will say you have a 1 year old. So what do you say to the guy
Okay.
that might be cautious that you have a 1 year old child?
I mean, I don't really have nothing to say to a person who's cautious about that. Like, I mean, it is what it is. It's unfortunate that his father and I didn't work out. But I don't feel like my person is worried about that. So if it's
Okay.
a person that's worried about that, he's just not my person. Not like, because my baby is my baby. I'm not gonna explain. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not anything between my kid's father and I. But I'm also not going to try to make excuses. Like it is what it is. Like
Did
you
your
know,
did your child did your child's father give you princess treatment?
absolutely,
Okay.
yeah,
And why did y'all not
yeah.
work out again?
I just don't think that we were. So if I'm being honest, so when I got into real estate, we were together and we started doing business together. And I feel like our relationship became more about business rather than the personal. And he's like a really business driven individual. So like he wake up thinking about business, he go to sleep thinking about business. And it stopped being romantic and it started to be like a business partnership. And I didn't like it. I don't think he enjoyed it. And I also think that we just grew apart ultimately. I think that, we did stuff to try to rekindle the relationship, but I just don't think that, God pulled us apart. Long story short, God was like, it's time to go. And went,
Does the guy got to make a certain amount of money?
absolutely. He got to have at least 200,000 a year. Yeah.
Okay. 200K. So 150 is not even enough for you.
Really, just because I don't want anybody, like, if I'm being honest, I don't want anybody who makes like less than me. I really feel like when it comes to like the woman that I am, granted,
You guys just watch that, man. Young lady. I mean, she looks good for having 2 kids and for her age. I think she said she's 33, right? She says, and she has 2 kids. So the first thing that stood out for me is she says she wants a man who's a businessman, entrepreneur, but she just said her ex or her baby daddy was exactly that. And then she says she wants a man to treat her like a princess. And then in the same sentence, when Kendra G asks her how her ex treated her, she says he treated her like a princess, but she left him. And then she says her ex, they broke up because of business. They were too focused on the business and their relationship became business minded. But at the same time, she wants a man who's into business and into entrepreneurship. So, like, I mean, I get that you want what you want, but shouldn't we all look at our past and see what went wrong so we don't repeat the mistakes in the future? Shouldn't we look at our past relationships, see what went wrong, and sit back and think and be like, okay, this is why my relationship ended. What did I do wrong to make it end? And what can I do better in the next relationship? So she had a long list. He should be God-fearing. He should pray. He should do all these things. She wants marriage, but she didn't require marriage from my ex baby daddy. She wants the next guy to take care of her kids, to play stepdad, but she didn't, she doesn't want to give kids. She doesn't want to have kids with the next guy who she wants, yet she wants the next guy to marry her. Like, that's not fair. Like, let's just be honest. That's not fair. Besides, what does the guy she wants making all this money want from her? All right? Like these are the questions we gotta start asking ourselves, men and women. Even if you're a man, you want a beautiful woman to be submissive and this, but what does she want from you? What do you bring to the table? Do you guys think her standards were crazy, or was she being fair? And this goes back to the first video we watched where the guy was saying from the Whatever podcast, right? He said men don't require too much from women, but women usually have like a long list of these standards and things they want, right? And it's okay. Man or woman, have all the standards and requirements and preferences you want, but we both get to sit back and be like, hey, listen, these are the things I want, but the person that I want, what do they want from me? Do I bring the same things to the table? All right, like, is it fair? Does it make sense? The things I require from the person in the future, did I require those same things from the person from the past, from my ex? Because it's like, okay, you are let's take example of a man, right? You want a submissive woman, or you want a clean woman, or you want a woman who's drama free, but then your next woman is gonna be like, okay, did you require those same things from your ex who was full of drama and all this and that? I get it, we both want better results in the future, but it's not fair for you to date people who didn't have those same preferences, and then you bring all these high standards for the person for you in the future. Unless now you've worked on yourself and you're a better person, sure, but there's no reason you should require marriage from someone from the next person, but you didn't require that same marriage from the person you had kids with. At the same time, you just said your past or your recent relationship ended because of business, because both of you are business minded, and then you want the next person to be business minded, and then you want the person who's going to marry you, but you don't want them to have kids with you because you already have kids from someone who you didn't require marriage from. Do you guys think she was being honest? Was it fair, her standards? I mean, in my opinion, she can have whatever standards anyone can have standards all they want all day, but at the end of the day is how do you get the results that you really want, because reality is gonna set in at some point. But you guys comment down below what you think. Are her standards fair?
Does the guy got to make a certain amount of money?
Absolutely. He got to have at least 200,000 a year. Yeah.
Okay. 200K. So 150 is not even enough for you.
Really, just because I don't want anybody, like, if I'm being honest, I don't want anybody who makes like less than me. I really feel like when it comes to like the woman that I am, granted,